Okay, 1 Corinthians 2, and we're going to jump in here for the sake of time, verse 4. And my speech and preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, again, talking about knowledge, the natural man, non-born again man, or if you are born again but you're preaching out of a natural soul, that's man's wisdom. So he says, again, verse 4, my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. And of course, he had to use the language of man's wisdom so people could understand him. In other words, he had to use earthly words. He had to use words that his audience would understand. But what those words are filled with, it has to come out of the Spirit, has to come out of the life of God, the mind of Christ from God, to be that power to change the person that hears these words. Which he says, but in demonstration of Spirit and of power, so that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, just in regular man's understanding of words, but in the power of God. In other words, you want to receive the actual three-dimensional basketball, the life of God through these words. You don't want to be stuck with, okay, I think of basketball as a dot that gets bigger and then decreases to a dot and disappears. You don't want to legalize the grace or greasify the grace. You want the actual grace and power and life of God that matures you as a son, that builds you up as a son, an actual three-dimensional son, a new creature. Glory be to God. I'm preaching myself happy.